We're Kim and Al. We have been planning our escape from a fast-paced corporate life since we met 10 years ago. Freedom 45. This year, we finally pulled the ripcord. We quit our jobs, sold our home in the city, bought a property in the sticks, and are building an off-grid home ourselves. We're excited to share our experience as we create our new life on the North River.
Blue sky, take me on your treasure dive. I've got nothing to lose after years with the blues. Oh, you know about them highs and lows. An angel is what I need to bring me up to full speed. Your shades of blue holds feather wings and arms made out of golden strings. I'll give anything to say hello. Over here, lower them stairs. I've got all the tools after years with the blues. Oh, you know about them highs and lows. An angel is what I need to bring me up full speed. Your shades of blue holds feather wings and arms made out of golden strings. I get anything to say hello. To indigo, say hello. An angel is what I need to bring me up to full speed. Your shades of blue holds feather wings and harps made out of golden strings. I get anything. An angel is what I need to bring me up. about nothing else other than you. I always thought I'd be waiting in vain, but suddenly there you were. Never thought it'd be easy to feel you in my arms, but now we're here and I'm all in, and I wanna buy you, 'cause I can stay till the morning, or stay till the dawn, but just hold me now. I wanna be so much better whenever you're around. I wanna say something clear.
So our neighbor has generously offered us her dead elm that's on her property, and eventually we're going to have to cut that down, and we're going to have to figure out a safe way to do that. But right now there's actually quite a bit on the ground already, so today Al and I are just going to clear that all up and just get that all cut up and start to dry it inside. And then I think that probably next we'll try to take off some of those lower limbs next time we actually tackle this tree, and then after that we're going to cut it down and use all of that wood. So really grateful for her generosity, because she's telling us that we're going to get about 8 cords out of that, which is pretty amazing. So that should be a good start and probably take us you know, through the winter and maybe then some. I'm not really sure yet, because I don't know what all of that's going to look like. We're still getting used to how much we need to burn in the wood stove and all of that, but pretty excited about just having this right here and not having to go and pick it up or have it dropped off or anything like that. So we're going to be doing that today.
Goes round and round in circles, but I'm still on the ground. It's a dizzying day. I would give a lot to get away. It's getting real dark in here. Feels like I've been here 1,000 years. Could you bring some light to me, or just sit beside me and never leave? I got the curtains up. I guess it would be nice if you could interrupt.
Walking around, feeling free, thinking about what's happened to me from July up till now. Don't know where, don't know how. Lately I've come to realize that I can see it in your eyes, so it's true. I'm so glad you feel it too. Nothing to hide, we're falling in love. Started something, this thing that we got grows stronger each day. We're together all the way, oh, we're falling in love. To me it's perfectly clear, we're falling in love. It's true, this part of the year has something in store for us.
hello.
We are coming to you from our new cozy little living space outside of the trailer and in our enclosure, right in front of our wood stove.
Yeah,
So
nice and toasty.
yeah, it's a big change in here, and we're really, really relieved. I don't know if we realized how worried we were.
Yeah, just when you got something that's out of place, it's always in the back of your mind. Even if you're busy and putting it, out of the forefront, it's still there. Because I felt tremendous relief once we saw all the sweat from the windows and the vapor barrier that we didn't insulate, like that's covering the windows right now. Dried right out. Brought the humidity down into the mid-30s. Even one night we put a pot of water on the top of the stove just so it would boil, and we've got one of those little piezo fans. They work through, they generates electricity, same as a thermocouple. Anybody that knows how furnaces work, right? You have a thermocouple that sticks in front of a flame. The flame creates a small current of electricity, which then signals other parts of the furnace that it's okay for the gas to start. And of course, that's a very complicated system. This is very simple. It's like a little DC motor and a propeller, but using that same principle of thermodynamics. The heat from the stove heats up the fan, the body of the fan, and then there's a little aluminum strip, like a bimetallic strip in there. So as soon as you heat it up, it creates electricity to run that fan, and then it blows the warm air off the top of the stove all over. And it's working really well.
Yeah, it's really great, and it's just so cute. It looks adorable in here, and we're just really pleased the way everything looks, as well as the way that it feels. Because
adorable.
And another plus to that is we are not running our propane furnace anymore. We don't need to.
Nope.
So that's pretty great. So we're
Cut
saving
back on
money
our
there, but obviously
fossil fuel consumption. For
exactly.
Yeah, we won't. I don't think we'll need the furnace. The only time I think we're going to use the furnace is if we go away for an extended period of time, like a weekend or a couple days. We'll set up a system to run the propane furnace on the lowest setting. So just keep it from things from freezing and that would be it. So we wouldn't even be there, and it would be running minimally. But yeah, we're going to save a lot on propane now.
Yeah, and save the earth too.
Yeah, a little bit at a time.
Yeah, and so this week, basically what we did after we got the wood stove working was we started to organize the 3 spaces that we have. So our primary focus was our living space, and then the shipping container and the farmhouse. So the shipping container, we got to put away our patio furniture, the chairs that Norval made that are still his, but we're keeping here for him. And just things like that we have been sitting out and been kind of at the mercy of the weather, and we didn't want that to be all winter, and we knew that we had a storm coming. We did have our first storm up here. It's so pretty.
Kind of in the middle of it. We're supposed to get a little bit more snow right now. It's perfect snowman snow, but no time to build a snowman.
Yeah. So really pretty outside, and just, really glad to have that shipping container organized now. And we also are planning on bringing a few more things in here. We have some area rugs and some other things that we want to set up in here, but after our first fire, we realized that we had to dry out the wood in here before we put it into the wood stove, because it just makes for a really smoky burn.
Yeah, we learned a bit about wood stoves. I'll give you a quick, for anyone who's interested, Wood Stove 101. So if you have an EPA certified wood stove, your best, it won't come with it, at least not typically. If you're buying a stove off the shelf, you need to get a thermometer for it. I would recommend also getting those little fans that sit on top of the stove, but the thermometer is really critical. Our first couple of fires were terrible. As Kim mentioned, the wood was wet, like not just wet as in green a little bit, but was physically wet from sitting out in the elements. We don't have a little enclosure yet for it, and right now I'm just covering our wood pile with a tarp. So when we burnt that wet wood, it just burns at a low temperature. It steams a lot, creates a lot of vapor, and within a couple of days the glass was brown. And what we learned about wood stoves is besides having that thermometer so that you know where the sweet spot is, because if you run too hot you can actually damage your stove. You can warp the metal in that, or start chimney fires. If it's too cool, then what happens is the creosote and the vapors that build up in the stove aren't able to escape all the way out. what happens is by the time they get to the back half of the flue, they cool off and condense and then start to coat the pipe. So that's why you have to get your chimney swept at least once a year, sometimes more depending on the type of wood you burn and how often you burn. So like I say, the glass was brown. We got this little spray, you clean it off, and then once we got the science of how to build a good fire in a wood stove proper, the glass stays clean. And that's, like I say, your key indicator how efficient your stove is working is just if the glass is starting to get brown, you're doing something wrong. It's too cool, probably, or your wood is wet. And we're lucky the elm that we're cutting up from our neighbor's yard, from her property, is like 5 years seasoned or whatever. It's a dead elm that's been sitting out in the elements, which is actually really works to the advantage. So it's naturally dried right out. A lot of the branches have fallen off, even some of the big ones that are like close to a foot in diameter. So we hack those up with the chainsaw and split them up, and they're pretty much good to go. So we'll keep harvesting that. I've got to split a bunch today and just keep bringing it in. That's one of the chores that we have. I got to build a box to stack the wood in, because obviously we don't have a ton of space, and you go through a lot of wood, more than you would think.
It's taken us a little while to get used to it. I mean, the first couple nights we burned it really hot in here.
Oh man, yeah, we got it toasty and we were so excited, and then it just kept going and going and then going and going. I think it was like 85 at one point, and
85 when we went to bed.
Yeah, we woke up. Yeah, I could have been up into the higher 80s while we were sleeping until the stove started to cool off. But we were pretty parched in the morning. I felt like I had downed a bottle of rye or something. I was just like a little bit of a headache and like, oh my god.
Well, and you just don't sleep well. You keep waking up because you're
it's terrible.
hot.
It's terrible.
So yeah, it took us about 2 days, right?
Yeah.
To figure out, and we're at the point now where, we only need 2 fires a day, and we know the temperature at night that we want it to be before we go to bed. So what we do is we close up the trailer.
Yep.
And it gets cooler out here, but it stays at that temperature longer for us in there while we're sleeping. And by the morning, it's about 66 right now in here, which is not really that bad, and we just start a fire up again. And
so it's like a somewhat cool in the morning, but it's not drafty, which makes it nice and tolerable. And I just get up in my pajamas and chop up some wood and get a fire going, and like Kim said, just 2 fires. One fire burns through the morning, starts to burn down around noon, and that'll keep the house warm until well into the evening, 6 or 7 o'clock, and then we start another fire that will warm the house back up. Like usually by the time we get the other fire going, it's dropped to about 72. And then it warms back up closer to 80, like 78, 79, and that's where we like it. And then, as Kim also mentioned, we use the trailer. So it's a kind of regulating thing. So if we close up the doors, if it's really hot out here and we know that the furnace is going to crank for a little bit longer, close the trailer windows and doors, and then it just slows the transfer of heat from this room into the trailer, and vice versa. Once we get it nice and toasty at night, close everything up so that it escapes a little slower from the trailer, so the trailer is a little warmer than the enclosure in the morning. But that's how we're kind of keeping things comfy.
So yeah, now that's our new normal, getting everything organized, because I was going, we both were going a little bit crazy. We needed to get our stuff organized. There's just stuff everywhere.
Putting up the chimney pipe was a nightmare, because we just had all these boxes of parts and things for the chimney, and you'd move it to one end to get the ladder set up there, and then you'd have to, just constantly playing this shell game. I was losing it, tripping over stuff. So that's passed, and the big long boxes that we had from the pipe we took out to the farmhouse to organize all the scrap wood.
I didn't even bring the camera out there when we started to kind of attack the farmhouse a little bit, just because it is an absolute disaster in there. It's
like
there's
a 10 by 10 foot
walk.
pile of like all the scrap wood from everything we've done so far, and stuff that I brought from Toronto. So bits of like trim and cut off bits of lumber, which to anybody out there with a wood stove, you probably already know this, but hang on, as long as it's not pressure treated, hang on to that wonderful kiln dried dimensional lumber, because it splits really nice and it makes really good kindling. It's super dry. It's it's the stuff.
So yeah, we're pretty happy about our new space. We're both feeling like this is all of our childhood dreams come true. It's just it's a real mix of both of our childhoods.
Yeah,
but
we got our couch set up from the living room from our house.
Yeah,
and we separated the chaise, like the little kind of lounge chair. because it's like an IKEA modular couch. So we just turned this into a love seat so it would fit better. And then the chaise, I'm going to build a little something to cover the bolt holes on the one side. So
Yeah.
that'll be a fun little project.
Yeah, and then, now that the shipping containers pretty much got it the way that we want it, we got all the patio furniture and all that stuff in there, and then the things that we're going to be bringing to the front, that is organized. When we go in there, we feel good about knowing where everything is. This is going to be what we do next, and always.
I was going to say, and Johnny, if you're still watching, I still have not played my guitar amp since I've been out here. I've not played my electric or either amps. They're coming up soon. And I'm pretty excited about that. I've been playing the acoustic, and I love it, but I needs me some gain and some noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to have those in here soon, but,
Yay.
as long as we're still drying the wood in here and Al's tools are kind of a mess over here until those get cleaned up, we don't want to bring too many things in here because it is still a little bit dusty in here. And so, we don't want to be constantly cleaning the rugs and things like that. And we are still sorting out some issues with the water as well. We're going to be, once we've got a little bit more sun, we're going to be figuring out the corners of the enclosure and just insulating
water
those.
infiltrate. Yeah, I made the mistake. I did not insulate the corners. I didn't have insulation at the time, and I never thought about it. But then when it came to the point, it's like I can't take apart my walls to get at them. So what's happening is right in the cracks where the walls meet, cold air is hitting the vapor barrier, and then the moist air inside the enclosure is condensing, and then it runs down. It's not a lot of water. It dries out when we have the fire going, but it's still no bueno.
So once we fix that up, we can probably bring everything in. We're hoping this coming week, but with the fire going and we're just feeling really relaxed and comfortable in here. So nothing feels like a rush. Everything feels just.
Yeah. We can do it if we want, or we can wait a day or two. It gives us a chance to sleep in a little bit and just kind of take it easy.
Yeah. Because it is winter and we are fighting off colds a little bit. So.
I think so.
It's nice that we're finally at this point because we can just relax a little bit and take it as it comes and do what we want when we want to do it. So.
Yep.
So anyway.
Yep. That's where
See
we're
you
at.
next time.
Bye now.